you thin down the sample, but at the same time, you don't break the sample. The other way, the third way, is that you get a copper grid like this. This is the whole material is copper, and then it is like this, which I showed you the last one, like this. You take the powder of your sample, very fine powder, and for example, you have a beaker. You put this is filled with acetone. You put a little bit powder. A little bit means 10 milligram is too much. You just put with the tip of the tweezer a little bit powder, pick you, and then drop it here. Put it in the ultrasonic vibrator or what you call it bath, so that they are shaped very well. When it is shaped very well, you can do it with hand as well. The heavier particle will settle down and the lighter particle will be left there. Then you put the tweezer and put a drop from that NaOH solution on the copper grid. And what happens? This is the copper grid. Then maybe a particle is held here, a particle is held here, some particles are held here. So there is a chance that you will get some thin particle stuck here and you will be able to see electron transparency in that sample. This is a very, what you can say, least productive method, right? Because it totally depends on the chance. If a slightly 1 micron is too much, if the thickness is 1 micron, 1 micron thickness is how much in nanometers? 10 power minus 9, 10 power minus 9, 1 meter, 10 power minus 9 is 1 nanometer, right? And when you decrease 3 from there, minus 6, so how many times? 100 times more. In comparison to the nanometer, the millimeter is 100 times, 100 times or 1000 times, 1000 times thicker. One wall and 1000 walls. This means it is not usable. So it is a chance, and people usually get that chance. I prepared all these sorts of samples, and when you prepare 3-4 samples, then there is a chance that you will find some electron transparent sample and you can use them. This way is quicker, that you put a copper ring, fix the sample upon it, thin it down, and when you are experienced and skilled, you thin it down to the desired thickness and very easily prepare the sample. But here you are limiting the area. And the proper method is this, that you take the actual sample and then secondly, when you put a copper ring here, or you put your sample on copper grid, then EDS becomes a problem. Because the peaks you get in energy dispersive spectrum, which are telling you the elemental composition, they are superimposed by the copper peaks. Because copper is the thicker material there in the sample, right? So EDS information, people do it. People guess, take estimates from them, but it is not considered the standard because you are measuring the X-rays coming from the copper more in comparison to your actual sample. Similarly, if the sample is metallic, then you don't need to coat it because metals, when electrons comes onto the sample, they are earthed with the machine or with the other parts of the machine. But if your sample is an insulator, for example, it is ceramic or quartz or glass, then you must carbon coat it so that electrons coming onto the sample find a way to neutralize. If they are not neutralized, then you will have a cloud type thing over the sample and you will not be able to get a well focused and proper image of that material. Okay, so we were talking at that point, never touch the specimen with fingers. You must know the instruments available for specimen preparation in your laboratory, because if you have proper tools, it can save a lot of your time. Now, we are coming here.